Hi, everyone. It's Lin Bouthillier from linbouthillier.com. I'm a certified trauma recovery coach, and I am absolutely delighted that you're joining me for this video. This is a little bit different. I only do these every once in a while, and some of you have seen one of these before. Some of you may have not from my channel I'm referring to. This is when I have a new book haul, and this time I waited until I have about 3 of them to be able to share with you. But sometimes from time to time, I'll get a question from somebody. I get a call from somebody who says, I don't want to work with you. I watch your videos and I really want to know, what are the books behind you? Please tell me the titles of the books in case any of them appeal to me. And I want to get a copy for myself, because if a trauma coach is reading them and I have trauma, it might be something that belongs in my library. And it is thrilling to me to be asked a question like that. And I always encourage my viewers to please reach out with questions. And it doesn't mean that you have to contract with me as your certified trauma recovery coach. And I don't like that word. I'm just differentiating between working with somebody officially and not working with them officially. So you don't have to be working with me officially is what I mean. I don't have to be your certified trauma recovery coach in order for you to ask the question. And a great question to ask a trauma coach is, what do you read? Because it is incumbent upon us to be reading so that we can be on the cutting edge, the leading edge of what is available for the trauma community, and that is the newest, best information. But that comes with a caveat. There are some old standbys that will never go away. In the world of certified trauma recovery coaching, there is literature that I'm going to refer to as the equivalent of the LBD. It's a little black dress. It will never go out of style. It will always hold value. It will always be important in a woman's wardrobe. Well, when we look at certain books, such as The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, MD, or if we look at Complex PTSD by Pete Walker, or possibly Healing Developmental Trauma. And that is, it's right on my shelf. It is Lipsky, and let me just check. I always blank on this one. I should have had it ready. I'm sorry, I was wrong. It's not Lipsky's book. It is Lawrence Heller, PhD, and Aileen Lapierre, PsyD. This is the book. These are books that are the standard reading for certified trauma recovery coaches. And when we have this library that we build, when we have clients that come to our office and they say, I really want to read on this subject, but I don't know where to begin, gives us a little something that we can offer them and say, well, I've done significant reading and I can help to, I'm never going to assign reading, but I can help you go in the direction of some things that may help you. And then always with the caveat that if you get a little ways in and it's not for you, close the book, put it down, and go on to the next thing, because anytime we're doing something that really doesn't feel like it serves us, it is perfectly okay to say, you know what, I'm hitting the cancel button on this, and this one didn't work out. Well, I'm going to get into my new deck of books, because I'll share with you what this trauma coach has in the queue for reading. This one is called The Betrayal of Innocence. It is about, the subtitle is Incest and Its Devastation, and is by Dr. Susan Forward and Craig Buck. And it says revised with new introduction by Dr. Susan Forward. And this is a rather small book. It's only it is 194 pages, and that's including the index in the back. But this is something that I've wanted to have in my hands for quite some time, and now it is here, and I couldn't be more delighted. The next one is from Dr. Gabor Mate. This is The Myth of Normal. I have watched the Myth of Normal talk that he gave on YouTube. Well, he didn't give it on YouTube. It's a Myth of Normal discussion was it was broadcast to YouTube. It was uploaded to YouTube. And this is well, on the back it says one of the most interesting voices on the human mind since Sigmund Freud, and that's from Evening Standard. And another quote in here is, I'll just read the back of the book. It says, mental illness and chronic disease are seemingly unstoppable, on an unseemingly stoppable rise. I'm sorry, tripping over my words. Going to start over. Mental illness and chronic disease are on a seemingly unstoppable rise. How did we get here? And what lies ahead for us? It all starts with waking up to what our bodies are expressing and our minds are suppressing. In this life-affirming book, Dr. Gabor Mate connects the dots between our personal suffering and the relentless pressures of modern life, showing that ill health is a natural reflection of our disconnection from our true selves. Drawing on 4 decades of clinical experience and stories of people transforming their bodies and minds, Dr. Mate offers a hopeful pathway to healing. So this has been something that I've been hoping to have in my hands for a while as well. This one is by someone who is especially dear to me. This is a book by Melanie Tonya Evans. She's from Australia. She's from Melbourne, Australia. And the book is You Can Thrive After Narcissistic Abuse. And the foreword is by Dr. Christiane Northrup. And at the bottom it says, the #1 system for recovering from toxic relationships. She started a wonderful program. She created a program that helps people to recover from narcissistic abuse. It is her own, it's her own method. She has created a system for recovery from narcissistic abuse. And I'm sorry, I'm blanking on what the title of it right now. But it is teaching people how to thrive after narcissistic abuse. And it says on the back here, you can thrive, not just survive. Melanie Tonya Evans is a healer, author, and speaker considered to be the world's leading authority on narcissistic abuse recovery. She is the founder of, this is what it's called, Quanta Freedom Healing, QFH, and the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program, NARP, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program. And you can find her at www.melanietoniaevans.com. And you can find her under the same name on YouTube. And she has a massive wealth of videos that are so easy to listen to. She's a lovely speaker, and she has helped me tremendously. In fact, she also inspired me. She's one of the people who inspired me to become a certified trauma recoach so that I can work with people who are trying to live the life they want to live after some of the worst things that can happen to a person have happened. So this book is called Obsessive Love. It's called, the subtitle is When It Hurts Too Much to Let Go. Another book by Susan Forward. If you haven't noticed already, I am a huge fan of Susan Forward's work. It's very straightforward. It's very, very digestible information. Her books are purposely not full of lots of psychological language that is, it doesn't read like the DSM-5. It reads like a human being who is speaking to you in an office, sitting across from you and speaking to you about what it is that you're coping with, and explaining certain behavior patterns and things like that we may not have had the resources to put together. And it's no one's fault. If we can't put together the story the way a clinician can, that's not our fault. That is us being a normal human being who has not had a psychology education, except for some, we refer to it as the PhD in psychology that you never wanted, meaning you're forced into learning about certain things for your own survival. And so this book is, it says, riveting. Once again, Susan Forward has shown a light on relationships in her uniquely compassionate and dramatic way. And that is from Dr. Barbara DeAngelis, author of What Women Want Men to Know. And so this is a wonderful book. It's from Bantam Books, and I'll be speaking more about this after that one is has been consumed. This one is from Brené Brown, and this is The Gifts of Imperfection. I was loaning a book to one of my clients recently, and when I pulled it off the shelf and I handed it to them, this was in the book, and it made my heart skip a beat. My mother has been passed away for 4 months now, but this is a bookmark that she made out of an old Christmas card. Whenever she gave us a book for a gift, it would have a Christmas card piece that she thought was especially pretty, cut into a certain shape, and then she would write a message on it. And this one says, "Happy reading, Merry Christmas." And so this was in that book, and it just kind of made my heart skip a beat. Well, sometimes people store things in books that are, and particularly in a Bible or any other religious book, if there's something that are very, very precious to you. And that is well, a bookmark wouldn't normally be precious to me, but in this case, it absolutely is. So this book is called The Gifts of Imperfection. And the subtitle is Let Go of Who You Think You're Supposed to Be and Embrace Who You Are. And it's your guide to a wholehearted life. And this is a picture of Brené Brown on the back. And it's a rather short book. It is, I'll tell you how many pages. It is 130 pages. That's a really, really easy to read little book. And I can't wait to get into this one. It says, this important book is about the lifelong journey from what will people think to I am enough. Reading The Gifts of Imperfection is like having a long, uplifting conversation with a very wise friend who offers compassion, wisdom, and great advice. And that's from Harriet Lerner. And she is the New York Times bestselling author of The Dance of Anger and The Dance of Connection. Harriet Lerner's book, one of them, is on my shelf. Oh dear, oh dear. Where did I put it? Oh, you know what? It might be in my room, because I have a couple books right at my bedside, and her book, The Dance of Anger, is already here. And so the next one is called Daring Greatly. This one is by Brené Brown too. This is the New York Times bestseller, more than 2 million copies sold. How the courage to be vulnerable transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead. Sorry, I got hiccups all of a sudden. And then this is, she is a PhD and an LMSW. So another book that she wrote is two other books. One is here that's listed on the cover, The Gift of Imperfection, which I just introduced to you. And another book called I Thought It Was Just Me. And so can't wait to read anything by Brené Brown. Next one is a book that some of you might be surprised to know that it's in my collection. There are a lot of people who will not speak about this book. I personally don't have any reservations about speaking about it. This is a book that I read years ago, and I have read it multiple times. But when I borrowed it from a library, I'm not joking, in the area where I live, this book was in a library, and then it went missing. It was no longer there. And when I took it out of the library, I devoured it in about 2 nights. It was a life-changing book for me. And it changed my political views. It changed a lot of things about me. But I can understand how the book was controversial, and it was just quietly removed, never saw it in the library again. I have never seen it in any library since that time. But this book is by Kathy O'Brien, and this is what the cover looks like. And it's called Transformation of America. And the subtitle is The True Life Story of a CIA Mind Control Slave by Kathy O'Brien with Mark Phillips. This is a woman who was in the MK Ultra program. And some of you who watch this channel will know immediately what that is, the MK Ultra program. It was a CIA mind control program that was developed many, many, many years ago. And it is still alive today. And it's one of those hushed up things in the world that no one is supposed to talk about. Well, because there are so many people who've been through those programs and they are in our world. And it was one of the things that inspired me to become a certified trauma recovery coach, because this is a story of one person's journey from being a little girl who got sold by her father into slavery and was owned by government operatives. And then later on, I think around age 35, that she was, she got out. And this is her story. And we live in a world where certain people want stories like this to be not believed, to be scorned, to be scoffed at. It's gaslighting, telling us that these things don't exist. But when somebody goes to the trouble of publishing a book, and I promise you, publishing a book is not a deal where you come up with a book and you take it to a publishing house and they pay you millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. That only happens if you're already hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you are an already established author whose books fly off the shelf. If you're a first-time author, you're not in it for the money. It's costing you money. You have to pay money to get your book published. I have a book that is written. It's going to publishing. I'm super excited about it. I don't know exactly when it will go, but I think that in the spring of 2025, it should be ready to go out to the publishing house. And what I'm saying about that is I'm just doing edits of my own and adding in a couple things before it goes. But the reason I'm speaking about that is because the work that I had to do, calling different publishing houses, finding out what publishing includes for them, and how many things are done to get your book to market, how many things are done to get your book publicity, all of that stuff, you pay for all of that. So this book, if this was a bunch of bunk that this person was just being imaginary about, okay, if that's just a thing that they were doing to get some attention, they went to monumental effort and expense just to get some attention. And that crosses that right off the list for me. This going through that much trouble shows me that Kathy O'Brien is, and if you read her book, my gosh, you can hear it. You can hear it in the interviews that she gives related to the topic of this book. She's written a couple books. I think there are 3, but I'm not certain. The next book after this one was about her efforts to get her daughter Kelly out of the same system that she got out of. And at the time of the book writing for the second book, I forget the title of it, but you can look it up. Books by Kathy O'Brien, SRA survivor, or MK Ultra survivor. Her daughter was not able to, at the time of the writing of the second book, she wasn't able to get her out. And so I have many, many, many times sent Miss O'Brien some compassion and some healing energy and some support for her to be able to reunite with her daughter. Next one is called, excuse me, having morning allergies again. Okay, this book is called When Your Lover is a Liar, and this is one more by Susan Forward. This powerful book will go a long way toward helping women regain their balance and self-esteem in the aftermath of betrayal. Now, I am a person who has survived the form of abuse that is referred to as betrayal. We can develop something called betrayal syndrome. This means we have lasting, serious after effects from being abused by neglect and betrayal for a very long time. And when you're in a committed relationship, neglect is absolutely a form of betrayal. It doesn't necessarily have, this is one of the, if I could say one thing to betrayal survivors and interpersonal relationship trauma survivors. If you have relationship trauma, there's a high likelihood that you've experienced betrayal in that relationship, no matter what type of relationship it is. It doesn't have to be an intimate partnership in order for it to be an interpersonal relationship where there's a betrayal. A parent can betray their child. A sibling can betray another sibling. A friend can betray a friend, that sort of thing. But what happens is it changes so much inside of us and can cause us to go into a freeze and shut down state. And it's a wonderful thing that there are people in the world who publish material such as Dr. Susan Forward's book, Love When Your Lover is a Liar, healing the wounds of deception and betrayal. We need a resource that we can trust that helps us to become unfrozen and unstuck. That's one of the most common responses we hear is an individual describes themselves as, I just feel frozen and shut down. I have difficulty feeling my body. I have anhedonia. It means I don't enjoy things anymore. I don't find pleasure in the most pleasurable things in the world. I don't enjoy food. I don't enjoy sex. I don't enjoy vacations. I don't enjoy music. I don't enjoy movies. I don't enjoy television. I don't enjoy reading. I don't enjoy my job. I don't enjoy much of anything. That's a big, huge systems response to betrayal trauma. And it is not unusual at all. And it's not the only form of trauma that can cause those shutdowns for us. But when someone has a betrayal, they think, how do I fix my broken heart so I can feel better? And what we teach as coaches is we teach recovery through reconnection to self, to others, and not the people who hurt you. Never, ever, ever. We do not do that. But we encourage healthy relationships, and we encourage connection to self in a healthy way, connection to our environment, connection to our world, connection to the universe, but all of it with the intention of doing so, knowing that you're worthy to be here and you didn't deserve what happened to you. So the next thing, my very last book for today, this one's extra special to me because this was recommended to me in a supervision class by a wonderful, beautiful person who is a supervisor at the International Association of Trauma Recovery Coaches. I refer to her as a supervisor, but to me, she's just a very, very dear human being. Helped me in a highly traumatized state, a situation where something had come up that was out of control. It was a totally out of control situation. And she was a person who really came through for me, and in a supervision class that we must attend from time to time. And it is for the well-being of our clients and the well-being of ourselves so that we can serve them in the safest way possible. And all mental health practitioners do attend some form of supervision. But this book is called Embracing Shame. It's by Brett Lyon and Sheila Rubin, and the subtitle is How to Stop Resisting Shame and Turn It into a Powerful Ally. This is what the book looks like. It's a beautiful cover. And they are from the Center for Healing Shame. Brett Lyon, PhD, and Sheila Rubin, MA, LMFT, are the founders and coordinators of the Center for Healing Shame and creators of the Healing Shame Lyon-Rubin method. They have taught thousands of psychotherapists, coaches, and other helping professionals across the world how to effectively identify and work with shame. For more, visit healingshame.com. Healing Shame with no capitals or dots in it, it's just healingshame.com. And you'll go to their website. Yeah, yes, yeah, it was yesterday. I let that supervisor from the IAOTRC know in a supervision session that I held the book up. Look, you told me about this book, and now it has come in my mailbox and it's here, and I can't wait to get started on it. And I said, I'm thinking about when I finish my program that I'm in now for becoming an RTT hypnotherapist. It's a rapid transformation hypnotherapist and a rapid transformational therapy practitioner. When that certification is completed, and it should be in the spring of 2025, my next direction that I wanted to go for my certifications is to the Center for Healing Shame, to become certified in shame, for recovery from shame. And I was told by the supervisor, the lovely woman that I just told you about, she said, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but they are no longer accepting coaches into the program. You have to have a mental health practitioner license now in order to be accepted into the educational programs at, in order to earn CEUs, continuing education units, at the Center for Healing Shame. And my response to that was, they must have had a very valid reason for doing that, or they wouldn't have. And then I can just read the material that they publish and get that certification in a different location. But one of the biggest things that a certified trauma recovery coach or a licensed mental health practitioner of any discipline whatsoever will always find to be coming into their healing space and needing to have care and attention and healing is shame. Clients come in carrying what I refer to as a shame load. What that means is that on their shoulders, on their backs, in their arms, and weighing them down with buckled knees and hurting spine is the shame from what someone else has done. And they made this person who's in my office be the shame holder. It is grossly unfair. It is grossly intolerable. And if you're looking for books to read and you're dealing with betrayal or shame, sexual incest, emotional incest, child sex abuse, child sex abuse, or COXA, like what I experienced, sexual assault, rape, anything in the realm of sexual violence, all of those things are sexually violent. Okay, anything that's under the heading of any form of molestation, sexual abuse, any of it, all of it, it's all violence towards another human being. And there is resource for you. If you're a person who is comfortable with reading, if you like to read, I will always welcome your phone call to ask for a book recommendation. And if I don't have something on the topic that you want to read about, I will reach out to my certified trauma recovery coaching clients, my misspoke, colleagues, and ask them, what would you recommend for a client who is having this difficulty? Because I want to help them to get this need met. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that you are working with me as your certified trauma recovery coach. But if you call me, you don't have to be working with any certified trauma recovery coach. But if you email me, call me, or text me with your question about reading material, I would love to be able to answer that question for you to the best of my ability. And if I don't have an answer, I'll reach out to the people who do have the answer, and then I will bring that information to you in a timely fashion to the best of my ability. Because when I order books, when I purchase books, when they come and I'm holding them in my arms, I know that this isn't just for me. It's for every single person that this information comes through me and goes out to. So I love being able to help these authors and these content creators, these wonderfully gifted people who spent their time sitting down, creating a logical, informative resource that you can hold in your hands, or you can get the PDF copy online. Many of these books, I don't call them self-help books, I call them resource books. If any book that is published as a resource for mental health, it's entirely possible that the author also released it to be a free PDF download on whatever device you're using. So if money is an issue, you can still resource out with books, okay? You can still bring resource in, is what I mean to say, with books, if they're available to you as a PDF. So please don't stress about whether or not you can access this information. Coaches, authors, mental health practitioners, more and more of us are doing everything we can to make sure that our clients have what they need. And if it's a book and it's on my shelf, this is something that I tell my clients, if you are already working with me as a client and I have a book and it's not in your library and money's tight and you can't get a copy of it for yourself, this is one thing that I pledge to do for my viewers. Okay, not for my viewers, for my clients. I don't send them out because my viewers are an untold number of people and it's growing. Okay, so this is for people who have a coaching relationship with me. Let's say, for instance, if they want to read about Susan Forward's book, When Your Lover is a Liar, but the money's tight and they really just don't want to. I mean, they have to pay rent, they have to pay for things, food, clothing, shelter, everything, education for their child or childcare, whatever it is. All you need to do is say, can I borrow the book? This is what will happen. Lynn will put the book inside of a special mailing package, and it will have inside of it a prepaid envelope. I'll take this to the post office, have it weighed inside the package, and have it marked with, the postage on it. I pay the postage, and then I send the book to you with that envelope inside, so that when you're done reading my book, guess what happens? All you need to do is stick it inside the prepaid mailer, put it in your mailbox, and it comes back to Lin Bouthillier's CTRC's office and goes right back on the shelf. And if something happens and my book gets destroyed, and let's say, for instance, your little one knocks over their cereal bowl and my book gets destroyed, what happens is you just let me know the book doesn't exist anymore. Something happened, it went in the garbage, and you know what? Life happened. And my answer to that is, thanks for letting me know so I can repurchase it. Some of you might be saying, how can you trust people like this? And my answer to this is extremely clear. And I'm going to look right at you while I say it. Does it not make sense for me to trust people with my book? If they have trusted me with their well-being, their story, their deepest, most private experiences, feelings, emotions, beliefs, ideas, desires, their pain, their joy. When you think about that, and then you compare a little book to that, and this is a precious thing. I'm not diminishing Dr. Susan Forward's amazing books. What I'm saying is, if somebody trusts me literally with their well-being, their past, their future, I can trust them with my book. I can trust them with my book. It's not going to change my life if I don't get a book back. So it's one of the things that I decided as a coach that's part of my practice. And it's part of me trust building with my clients. Simple little thing, right? I think it's way easier to trust somebody with your book than it is with all the things I just listed. But that's how much I care. That's how much I'm genuine. That's how much I'm sincere. And that's how much I am able to trust that my book's going to come back. And that makes me happy to offer that. It makes me feel like the client is saying that person in upstate New York with her little tiny coaching practice in her home sees me, hears me, feels me, understands me, cares about me, and she thinks that I matter. And no words have ever been said truer than those words. So thank you for joining me to go over my most recent book haul with me. I still have books from my last one that I have not read, but we get some pretty big storms in upstate New York in the winter time, and I know where I'm going to be. I am going to be tucked in my cozy bed with my stack of books and my 2 puppies. I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be reading and expanding my ways, creative ways that I can be there for all of my clients and my viewers. So if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please hit the like button. Please do it now. Hit the like button. It helps my video get seen by more people. Please hit the subscribe button. Please put comments in the comments section and hit the notification bell so you can be told when I put up new content for you. And please remember, I mean this from my heart. Self-care, reading is beautiful self-care. Self-care is never, ever selfish. It's essential. It's essential to our well-being, and it is incredibly essential to our trauma recovery. You are infinitely worthy of your trauma recovery. That is so true. You certainly are. You've been through a lot, but you're just as precious as any other person on the planet. And you deserve to live a life free of the constraints of your trauma. So I'll see you in the next one, everyone. Have the very best day. Take care.